The federal election in Canada is just days away. And as always, housing is a top issue, especially here in the Greater Toronto area. Depending on whether you are renting, a first time buyer, or an investor, what the two major parties are promising mean very different things to you. In this video, I'll break down how the liberal and conservative platforms could affect those three groups. No spin, no political endorsement, just what is in the platform and how it could affect the GTA market going forward. Hey, if you're new here, my name's Rob Marsiglio. I'm a realtor with Valerie Real Estate, Canada's first ever AI-powered brokerage. I'm out here in Durham region, and every single week on this channel, I break down what is happening in GTA real estate to let renters, buyers, and sellers know what I think they really need to know. So if that's the type of content that interests you, maybe like this video and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss anything going forward. Let's start with renters, and if you're a renter reading through both of these parties' platforms, you may feel a little bit left in the dust. There's no note of, national rent control or rent subsidies, but both parties do touch on things that may have an impact on the rental market in the GTA. The Liberals are the one party that actually mentions renters and rentals in their platform, and I think the big swing that they take is with the multi-unit residential building tax incentive. Now, this is a tax incentive that was originally implemented in the 70s, and it allowed investors in rental apartments to deduct expenses related to the building from their personal taxes. So it was actually a policy that was instrumental in spurring construction between 1974 and 1981. Nearly 200,000 rental units came to market because of this tax incentive. So the reintroduction of MURB is expected to accelerate the construction of apartment buildings, particularly smaller ones, and shift investment decisions of these smaller scale real estate developers, maybe to rental supply as opposed to condos or other small for sale projects. The conservative platform doesn't really make any mention of renters or rental supply specifically, but they do target kind of broad sweeping measures to increase overall supply, which as a result may feed down into the rental market over time. Specifically, their plan includes creation of shovel-ready zones. That's going to fast-track housing constructions in different areas, proposing tying federal infrastructure funding to actual housing results from municipalities. They have a target of increasing year-over-year development and building by 15%. If you exceed that target, there's bonus incentives. If you fall short of that target, they will kind of withhold federal infrastructure funding in those municipalities. They also want to fast-track CMHC approvals to get decisions within 60 days on affordable housing projects and increase density around federally funded transit stations. So no guarantees that these will be for rental units, but it could result in more rental units in these areas. So while neither party is introducing any tenant protections or rent subsidies, the Liberals have a more targeted plan for actual rental supply, whereas the Conservatives, again, it's just more broad sweeping housing supply overall, which hopefully feeds down to the rental level. Now, on to first-time homebuyers, and both parties do recognize how hard it has been for first-time homebuyers to break into the real estate market in Canada, especially in big urban centers, thinking, Greater Toronto Area, Vancouver. Their strategies to address first-time homebuyer struggles are a little bit different, though. The Liberals are focused on targeted affordability. They are proposing a GST elimination on new construction purchases up to $1 million exclusively for first-time homebuyers, actually a little bit more between $1 million and 1.5 in bigger urban centers. They'll also launch the Build Canada Homes initiative to build more housing, especially modular and prefab homes, and that's going to be on public lands just to boost the supply of housing. They also want to make mortgage payments more stable by working with mortgage lenders to offer longer-term mortgage rate options. They'll streamline building codes, permitting using standardized designs to speed up construction and lower the cost of new home construction. If I had to summarize the conservative side, it would be kind of more broad sweeping tax cuts and really aggressive supply side incentives. So again, they'll eliminate the GST on all new home purchases up to $1.3 million. And that's regardless of who's buying. So it's not targeted at those first-time home buyers. It's opening it up to the entire population. To further reduce costs, they're going to reimburse municipalities that cut development charges, and they plan to reward cities that increase housing starts by 15% year over year. So, a few of the same talking points that we talked about for renters, it's more just broad supply side incentives. Lastly, they promise to sell off 15% of federal buildings for housing within 100 days of taking office. So In short, liberals offering targeted support for first-time homebuyers to help them with affordability, whereas conservatives, first-time homebuyers are included, but it's opening up those incentives to the entire population. Now, when it comes to real estate investors, I think this is where you see a clear divergence and maybe a clear winner. I will kind of give you my opinion on who wins in each category at the end of the video, but here I think it's clearly the conservatives that it's more favorable for investors if it was to be a conservative government that comes into place, and again, they follow through on all of their platform promises. So conservative platform includes multiple tax breaks that directly benefit investors, like eliminating the capital gains tax when proceeds are reinvested in Canada, at least until the end of 2026. They also want to introduce a Canada First TFSA top-up, allowing an extra $5,000 in contribution room for investments in Canadian companies, including developers and real estate trust. They'll also axe the underused house tax. I couldn't go through this entire video without giving a shout out to axe the tax. The Liberal platform doesn't include really anything about private real estate investors. Instead, they're focusing on boosting, again, public housing development, nation building infrastructure, and climate conscious construction. So their tone is a little more cautious about the speculative nature of the market and more focused on long-term affordability. To quickly recap what we've gone through in this video, we'll break it down by segment again. So for renters, the Liberal Party is reintroducing the MURB tax incentive to boost rental supply, whereas the Conservative Party is focusing on increasing overall housing supply. I've got to give the edge to the Liberals here just because it is a targeted effort at rental supply. It's not kind of hoping on knock-on effects from just general supply building in Canada. On to first-time home buyers, the Liberal Party, like we said, will cut GST on new homes up to $1 million. They have their Build Canada Homes initiative to build supply, longer-term mortgage options, faster permitting. On the Conservative side, it's that tax cut, more broad market, lower development charges, and federal land for housing. I had to sit on the fence here and give this one a tie. Again, I like that the Liberal platform is more targeted to the first-time home buyers. The Conservatives are opening it up to everybody. So sure, the first-time home buyers will maybe benefit from deeper tax cuts, but they'll also go up against maybe a little more competition in those entry-level markets because that incentive is offered to everybody. And when it comes to investors, as I already said in the kind of last segment, I think there's clearly a winner here with the conservative platform being more investor friendly, just with tax incentives for reinvesting back into Canada. Really, out of the two platforms on the housing side of things, if you're looking to build rental supply, maybe the Liberals are better if that's kind of your investment avenue. You're a builder investing in rental supply, but I've got to give the edge to the Conservatives here. I think it's important to remember that the GTA housing market is one of the most complex and expensive markets in the country, and no kind of federal platform is going to be the silver bullet to fix the problems that we have here. But I think it is very safe to say that after April 28th, the direction that this country goes in terms of housing will be heavily influenced by what is happening at the federal level. In the short term after this election, regardless of who wins, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a bump in activity in the Greater Toronto Area housing market. That's not saying much considering how slow it has been to this point in the year, but having that uncertainty of the election behind us finally may free buyers up, give them maybe a little bit more confidence, improve a bit of sentiment going forward for the next little bit. Once again, this video was not a political endorsement for either party, just trying to do a recap of what I feel will have the biggest effects on the GTA housing market going forward, whether you're a renter, first-time homebuyer, or investor. Speaking of which one are you? And how do you feel about the breakdown that I provided today? Let me know in the comments below. I always love to hear what you are feeling about this market, what you are seeing out there in the market. Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful in any way whatsoever, you are entertained by the video, you gained some knowledge out of it, consider liking it, subscribing to the channel so you don't miss anything else going forward. If you have intentions to rent, buy, sell in Durham region, the GTA at large, there's a link down in the description of this video where you can book a call directly with me in my calendar. And I'm always happy to talk shop. Thanks so much for sticking with me right through to the end of another video. Until we speak again next time, stay safe and cheers. And don't forget to vote.